So Liam and Molly had only been dating for a short time as they came into prom season. Liam decided to ask her to prom, and Molly said yes. Liam then figuring, oh boy, I got a lot I got to do. So he goes to the mall, and he's gonna get himself fitted for a tux. He gets there, there's a big long line. He stands there and waits and waits. Hour goes by, hour and a half. He finally gets in. Gets measured for his tux. He says, well, I'm out. Let me go get a limo. I want to go in style. Again, another long line. He stands there and he waits and he waits. Finally, he gets to rent his limo. He's like, oh, I'm exhausted. I'm going home. He realizes at home, I got to order flowers. So he goes, he's like, I'm calling. So he calls the florist, waits online. Half hour, 45 minutes, an hour goes by, somebody finally takes his order. He's like, all right, I think I'm ready. Next day, he gets into school, he goes, oh man, I gotta buy tickets. Goes down to the office, again, 30 people deep, waits in line, hanging out. Finally gets a chance and he gets his tickets. So he's, I'm all set. Night of the prom comes, puts on his tux, gets his flowers for Molly. Gets in the limo, goes, picks her up, they go to the prom, they walk in, they're having a wonderful time. Molly turns to him and says, you know, Liam, I'm a little thirsty, could you go get me a drink? I'd love some punch. He goes, yeah, sure, I'll go get you a drink. So he walks over to the table, and just as he's about to pour the drinks, he looks around and he realizes there's no punchline. So that was one of Marin's favorite jokes. We used to tell that to the doctors and the nurses and the nurse practitioners down at CHOP, and they would sit there very attentively and listen, only to be set up for no punchline. She had a great sense of humor, so let me tell you about Marin. Marin was our baby. She was our third child. She was our adventurer. She was our little athlete. She was beautiful. She was amazing. And at 6 years old, out of nowhere, she was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, a very aggressive form of leukemia. So we ended up having to spend the better part of 7 months inpatient at CHOP. My wife Bridget and I would take turns staying with her overnight. We spent over 160 nights at CHOP, where after her first round, she had reached remission, and we were on a good path. And then the day after Christmas in 2017, she spiked a fever. We brought her down to CHOP, and she had relapsed on therapy. We knew that wasn't good. It's one thing to relapse later, it's another thing to relapse on therapy. Another round, another remission. We're going to try and get to a bone marrow transplant. And then just around little later this month, she would have relapsed again. And at that time, we were told there's nothing else that is going to cure Marin. There was things we could do to prolong our time with her, but there was to be no cure. So we brought her home to be with her family and in her bed and in her room, where she passed of 2018, just a month and a half after her 7th birthday. So, last year, we had the honor of speaking here, and then we also spoke at Cardinal O'Hara, my alma mater. And when I was there, I told the kids, this is what I expect of you, right? Do more. Whatever it is in life, do more, just a little more. That is going to be the difference between being mediocre and being successful and doing well in life, is doing just a little bit more. So now I look at all your faces here today, and what's the challenge I have for you? Show up. Keep showing up. When you don't want to, show up. It's the hardest thing to do, and so many people don't do it. Marin had to do it. She was stuck in a hospital room, and every day doctors and nurses came in and poked and prodded her. And she could have complained, and she could have said no, and she could have pitched a fit, but she stepped up and she showed up. She showed up every day for her blood draws, for her medicine, only to make her sick, in hopes that she would be cured again. That cure didn't come. You're all here to raise money to help find a cure for cancer, so no other little kids like Marin or any of the people here that were brave enough to show up and talk about their families, that someday maybe we don't need to do this. So I thank you. I do want to shout out to Kevin Reckner. I was going to tease you today, but your mommy said I'm not allowed, so. Everyone, today's going to be tough. Your feet are going to hurt. You're going to be tired. Keep showing up. Thank you.